Reincarnation and karma are two of the recurrent themes in the Edgar Cayce readings. The idea is that all sounds were created in the beginning, and through consecutive lives are given the opportunity to experience, understand, and correct those situations and inner qualities which keep the individual separate from his creator. Each mistake must be faced again for correction. The law of karma is the law of cause and effect and acts both negatively and positively. The good or correct choices are always rewarded, while the wrong choices, which are not in accord with the harmony of the universe, are manifested in future lives to be faced and eventually corrected. The readings state that in the beginning all spirits were sparks of the original spirit, which is God, and where of the same essence all were equal and each were perfect. In addition to a divine spirit, these beings were given free will with which they might choose to follow the divine paternity or the quest of the curious mind. It was the following of this quest which caused the dissemination of the spirits throughout the universe and the worlds. It was this curiosity which brought us into the earth plane and causes us to enter into the flesh bodies. Around the nucleus of the pure spirit formed the positive and negative patterns of soul, according to the choices of the individual or the use of his free will. The soul, then, is the record of the individual's choices, and it is the individual's soul consciousness which dictates the karma to be met in any lifetime. Man is forever meeting himself. The reading suggests that our problems, our weaknesses, and our strengths are mirrored in our acquaintances and experiences. There are two readings from the files in the A.R.E. library which illustrate one of the greatest comforts found in the belief in the reincarnation, that no learning is ever lost. All acquired skills and aptitude require within the soul memory forever available to us as we attune ourselves to our highest ideals. Our interests and habitual thinking create a pattern of vibrations around and in us. These vibrations, reactive, similar vibrations or memories from past lives. It is thought through this avenue, created by our choice of interests, that the past strengths and weaknesses are channeled into our present experience. The first life reading is presented to give the reader an opportunity to see a complete transcript of such a discourse. The author has substituted the name of a previous incarnation for the number ascribed to the case. In the life reading given to Apsara, it is indicated that while still a quote-unquote thought form, he had already developed musical ability. See reading paragraph number 14. This ability was available throughout all subsequent incarnations and showed in a marked degree in his present life, as demonstrated by the background material preceding the actual reading. The other dominant karmic influence to be noted is his attitude towards sex. This started in the Atlantean period and carried through many lives as an unsatisfying and frustrating experience. Paragraph number 2 points out the fact that Apsara sought sexual satisfaction, both as a male and female, in the Atlantean sojourn. Again, in looking at the present life, we can see the tendency towards homosexuality. How did the karmic patterns of music and sex become so completely interwoven in his mind and emotions? The explanation is very clearly shown in paragraph number 11, when Apsara was chosen to play the background music as King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba made love. Both aspects of this karma were brought strongly into focus in a female life as Giovanna Bactio, when, as a student of Saint Cecilia, the entity attained musical heights but eventually committed suicide because of homosexual frustrations. As we read these accounts, we find it hard to understand how this individual in his present life was so completely unable to recognize the reason and to apply the admonition given. The importance of his present incarnation is stated in paragraph 1 as the, quote, experience that may make or break the entity, end quote. The way of attainment is carefully laid out in paragraph number 6 and number 7, and the promise in paragraph number 16, quote, there is nothing impossible for the entity to attain in fame or fortune or in spiritual enfoldment, end quote. In 1943, Apsva served as a sailor in the Navy and was stationed near Virginia Beach. At that time, Mr. and Mrs. Jones were at the A.R.E. headquarters. Miss Smith, a mutual friend, wrote the Joneses suggesting that they contact Apsva, saying that they would be keenly interested in the young man's unusual talent as a pianist. As a result, Apsva came to the A.R.E., met Mr. Cayce and the office staff, and was an occasional visitor on the premises. In the spring of 1944, he was discharged from the Navy and returned to Iowa. This relocation distressed him so much that he wrote to Mr. Cayce requesting a reading. Communications. Letter to Jones. Supposed to play with a WCTU banquet tonight, but I haven't practiced once. I'll just get up and do some imitations. Below are the questions to be asked in my reading. If you can think of any more pertinent ones, slip them in. You will be present during the sessions, won't you? Please be my proxy. 1. What should be my life work? 2. Should I ever get married? 3. Who or where is the right girl? 4. Is Miss Smith the right girl? You can simplify, amplify, or add if you wish. The additional questions submitted at the end of his first life reading. Jones's letter to Miss Smith. Quote, your letter arrived in hand with one from our mutual friend, Apsva. He is to have his life reading tomorrow, if all goes well, and was sending his questions. You bet we had a good time with him. His musicianship is thrilling, and his humor can be the life of the party. Sometimes we had to bawl with him out, too, but I think he knows that he was or has become almost a member of the family to us. Not only to us, all the girls who worked here, married or unmarried, have taken an interest in him. He is so brash and good-natured that he makes friends quickly. They asked about him often and interests in high over his reading tomorrow. Give my regards to Apsva and keep up the good work. He's a swell guy, and if he can get his rudders at the right angle, he should be able to climb and climb. End of quote. Present. EC, GC, conductor, GD, and JF, stenographer, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, time of reading, between 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., EWT. Suggestion by GC. You will have before you Apsra, who was and born. You will give the relations of this entity and the universe, and the universal forces, giving the condition that are as personalities, latent and exhibited. In the life present, also the former appearances in the earth's plane, giving time, place, and the name, and that in that life which developed or retarded the entity, giving the abilities of the present entity, and that to which it may attain, and how. You will answer the questions as I ask them.